Okay.
Warren Hughes, head of ACS.
ACS, yep.
Integrated service provider.
Yep.
That does everything from
cleaning. We're obviously in the service industry, so we supply security, cleaning, low-tech maintenance. That's our main core services, and then we have others such as traffic control and waste management and all those other peripheral services. Yeah.
And just celebrated 20 years.
20 years, 2 months ago. Yes, yeah. Started off at the Kincumber Hotel 20 years ago, and we are where we are today.
Actually, we should talk about it, and we try not to date our interviews.
Yeah.
But show us your award.
Yes. Here it is. It's,
and this you are, and it is outstanding contribution by a CEO from Edgar and the not judged by Edgar, but a significant panel.
Yes.
Central Coast Business Review. So that was cool.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, we don't really put ourselves up for these things, but
they're the best ones to win.
They're a good one to win. So yeah, being a local boy from Umina, it's always rewarding.
Excellent. 20 years. Changed significantly from where you were at the pub.
Yeah, the pubs and clubs. Yeah.
And are there one or two strategies that you look back on and say, "Wow, that was really cool," or that was?
Look, I think one of the strategies is to say yes more times than no, then work it out later. So when people ask you certain things, can you do this? Can you do that? That's probably the one of the main features, and always remember what you've got to lose rather than what you've got to gain. So before you go into a deal, just look at what you have to lose potentially before you sign the dotted line to go forward. So yeah,
because you started, I got first exposed to you guys as a tenant at Westfield Tuggerah.
Oh yes,
and you guys used to do a great job.
Yes,
well, still do a great job, and you've expanded to Hornsby.
Yeah, we do 20 Westfield centres around Australia. Everyone in WA, South Australia, Queensland, and a few in New South Wales. But look, to elaborate on where we started, it was in the pubs and clubs in the early 90s, and then we expanded pretty quickly with the military in the mid 90s, supplying security, cleaning, maintenance to armament depots around Australia. Then we were introduced to Lend-Lease in 97 into retail, and hence that's most of our work now. And we provide security, cleaning and multi-skilling to 54, 55 shopping centres around Australia. So. And
you used to run, at a personal level, you used to run events too, didn't you?
As in event management?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, we've had a dibble in the stadium at Gosford and so forth, and it's always good, but it's very high and low. You know, you'll
need the stuff you're in now.
You will need 300 staff, and then you say goodbye to them. Then you'll catch up with them in another 6 weeks. Where this way, it's still labour-based, but we only employ full-timers and very long-houred part-timers.
What surprised you in that growth in that 20 years?
I don't think there's been any huge surprise. I mean, obviously, the clients want a one-stop shop. I realised that very early in the piece. So if we're in a shopping centre and we're providing security, they'd say, look, you know someone that can clean? We're having problems with our bloody cleaners, or we're having problems trying to get someone to put a light bulb in. And of course, that's when the yes scenario came in. Yes, we can do that. We've got the management in place. We've got the site supervisor in place. Most guys like to be multi-skilled. They like to feel more worth. So we tend to call our team more of a caretaker role rather than just a security guard or a cleaner.
Okay. If we were looking at the next year or two, evolution there, is there something you'd love to see happen within that time?
Myself personally with ACS or just business in general?
Oh, we'll take both of those. You first and then...
Well, we're pushing fairly hard with the mines at the moment. More of an FM contract. As facilities management contract, so we're pushing more of it going into the mining sector and providing 10, 20 different services, still based around those low tech services.
And that's everything from accommodation to
catering, transport, cleaning, security, maintenance, high tech maintenance, low tech, aircon, waste management. You can get to the point where you can virtually take care of a township, to the extreme, which they're doing that in the military at the moment. So yes, I mean that's something we want to push forward. Always looking for things differently. As a business point of view, I mean, I always believe, particularly in New South Wales, we've really still got to get that chronic problem of workers' comp and payroll tax under control. You know, the litigation in workers' comp now is just absolutely killing small business to medium business, even to large business. So until we get that one under control, you're really at risk, because you have a couple of claims, you can be in the red $500,000 through not your fault, you know.
So how do we put pressure as a business group, as a business community? Is it? How do we pressure
it's usually through the chambers,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or the New South Wales Chamber or the State Chamber, or trying to tackle the pollies when you can. If you talk about payroll tax, and most people that know me know I'm fairly vocal on that, because it's just such a insidious tax.
It's an impost for employing people.
For employing people. Yeah, it's just madness. I've had both sides of the politicians trying to explain it to me, and really, in the end of the day, is I don't see any true true situation where they're going to minimise payroll tax. It's just crazy. I mean, we pay a couple of $1,000 every day of the year, you know, so we're paying $850,000 a year payroll tax.
Yeah.
And I often had that argument. I would put all that money back into middle management, so I'd employ more staff. Because most companies are skeleton staff now, because margins are tight in any business, you know. But in the service industry, which we do, is extremely tight.
Yeah. I'd love to talk about your team. I looked at it on the web last night.
Okay,
Extraordinary depth. Where do you find them?
Look, you know, I've got a bit of a different angle on employment. I just have a real basic philosophy, and I've used it for 20 years. If you're comfortable in inviting someone over to your place for a barbecue, you'd be comfortable in employing them. Conversely, could be the smartest guy around in his field, but if you're not comfortable in bringing him back to your family, you're not going to be comfortable employing him. And that's kind of my angle, and I haven't changed that. So, and when you look at our middle top end management, they've been with me on this journey for 20 years. I could name most of my top end 20 or 30 people that have known me personally for 20, 25 years. So, you know, it's I think we've got the mix right, having a friend but also having a work colleague too, which is hard to put the two together.
Indeed. Well, let's talk about friends, wives.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Terrigal Beach.
Yes, yeah.
Work-life balance. This is.
Yeah, I mean, I got that right. Oh, I'd like to think I got it right a fair while ago. You and I spoke about it. It was only, you know, last year, but no, it really wasn't. Probably, particularly working in the nightclubs, long hours, any small business, high stress, a lot of litigation or potential litigation and so forth, and you tend to take that home. And so I've learned pretty early in the piece, try not to take it home. Click off the job card when you walk in the door. It's not that easy. But yeah, no, look, I think after 20 years, I was a young rogue 20 years ago with a long ponytail out there walking the footpath, and so now I'm the old bloke.
Well, I was going to say,
done the whole circle.
Slightly older rogue.
Slightly older, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, we have what we call date night every Thursday night, and I try not to work Fridays. And but you know, it's it's good. We just bought a property out at Terrigal Beach, and we're doing renovations on it, and yeah, it's good. It's a good backyard.
But it's
a good front yard.
It's a great front yard. It's an extraordinary front yard. Okay, that's cool. Here's the opportunity. I know you're a vocal older person.
Yeah, older person, older and wiser, we hope.
Well, not too wise. You can be as radical as you want here.
Yeah.
60 seconds to rant on something. I think we've heard something about tax, so we might not go there. But have you got another thing that you would love to change?
In business?
In business, yeah.
Oh, geez, that's a hard one. We have unemployment at 5%, so we run about 20 to 30,000 hours a week in manpower. So it gives you an idea. So our whole business is based on employment and that type of thing. You know, it'd be good if we could just change the culture a little bit in Australia for maybe not bite the hand that feeds it as much. You know, so that's going to be a long time away. We've got unemployment at 4 or 5%. Getting everyone's attitude to change a little bit, just to appreciate the job a bit more. That's my angle that I think would be good. We do our best to maintain, and we've got a great history with staff hitting long service leave and all that stuff. But I think if everyone can just maybe just be a bit happier at work, just getting that mindset at the beginning of the day, I think that's if I can change something, that's what I always want to change. Because not everyone's got an open checkbook. Unfortunately, we can't afford to pay X amount. So, that's our long-term or short, medium, long-term goal, is to make it as much pleasurable for our workers as possible. So they get up and go, yippee, I'm off to work, most days.
Warren, significant growth over 20 years. Has there been a philosophy that's been, let's do this organically or through acquisition?
Yeah, pretty well organically. Really, we've actually had one acquisition over in WA, which we had to deliberately find a footprint over there to then on-sell to another client. So, but no, it's been organic. We've never really looked at acquisitions. We have from time to time, but it's all on performance, and clients are fairly stringent and hard on what they require. And I suppose I'm a little bit reserved that if you go and outlay X amount of dollars, it still doesn't mean you're going to keep those contracts, because they're all performance based. So we may do it a little bit different the next 12 months. We're trying to get up to 50 million turnover fairly quickly, because we've put a management structure in place now for the next growth period, because that's always the way it is, isn't it? Is having enough management in place to handle 10 million or 20 million or 30 million. And then when we're running in the low 30s now and we want to go to 40, well, we have enough management and technology in place now to maintain that. So I think we may look at some of the other smaller players, I suppose, in a sense, that they've had. Of their business and to take it to that growth. So probably a little bit different the next 12 months compared to the last 20.
With regard to that, in that significant move from low 30s to 50, where's Warren Hughes fit in that in 12 months?
Oh, crikey, that's always been a question asked.
Should I ask your chairman?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Look, it's come up probably the last 10 years, where do I go? Because ACS has been an absolute, I call it the bloodline, and it's enabled me to keep my sanity away from that, is by, it's given me enough money and security to, purchase preschools and commercial centres and other things and developments that I enjoy doing. So I've got a pretty good mix. So the answer to your question, I'm dodging around this, is...
You can answer it any way you like.
No, I still think I'll be here. We've had equity partners putting their hands up, some big players and some small players, but really, you mentioned before, it's a lifestyle. I'm absolutely blessed to have a great team, or a family as I call it. I always talk about the family, to support me. So really they control the business, and I like to think the day-to-day running, they're in control of it. I probably spend more time now with the workers and the staff on the floor than I've ever had. So that's kind of takes up 2/3 of my job now, is just to walk with the staff and to talk to them, and that's what it's all about.
Powerful thing.
It is, and it doesn't cost a lot of money to do that. A cup of coffee and just a chat, and a lot of people appreciate that. And I let the other scallywags run my business. So the answer to the question is no. I think I'll just be here, mate. They'll probably have to drag me out. I'm notching up nearly 50. They'll probably have to drag me up back out at 60. So
that old.
I know, mate. It was 48 and a half, but 50 is just around the corner.
All right, I will stop there.
Thanks,
Thank
Mark.
you for your time.
No worries, buddy. Good on you.
Great session.
Hey, Bob.